Welcome, everybody, to Real Fun Times with the Doctor. That's me.
And Snowy, that's me.
And Snowy.
Hey.
I'm so excited about this episode.
I am too.
I think it's going to be a blast.
I think it's going to be a blasty blast and a half.
I was going to say blast. Well, not the blasty. You took that, but I'm taking it now. So good. I can't chit-chat long here because here's what happened.
Okay.
I went looking for real fun facts. I thought it'd be fun to have one about Marlboro cigarettes and one about Harley Davidson.
My preferred brand in college.
My first brand ever. But when I went down the Marlboro rabbit hole, I got totally lost. And so I have to rattle off some quick Marlboro facts that I found fascinating.
Okay.
And then we can discuss.
Okay. I look forward to it.
Ready?
Fucking do it.
Philip Morris launched the Marlboro brand in 1924 as a women's cigarette.
All right.
In the 1920s, the filter had a printed red band around it to hide lipstick stains, calling it beauty tips to keep the paper from your lips.
My jaw just dropped.
The repositioning of Marlboro as a man's cigarette was handled by Chicago advertiser Leo Burnett. The proposed campaign was to present a lineup of manly figures doing manly things. Sea captains, weightlifters, war correspondents, construction workers, etc. The cowboy was to have been the first in the series and became the most popular amongst all the rest.
Of course it.
The Marlboro Man Campaign had an astonishing effect on sales. In 1955, they were at 5 billion. By 1957, they were at 20 billion after that campaign.
What? Like, is this individual cigarettes sold or packs sold?
I didn't go that deep. Such a good question. You should be like an intrepid reporter.
Media's dead.
For the Daily Bugle, ma'am.
Have some hot tips, Hancy.
Amazing. This is interesting. In 1963, Philip Morris purchased the rights to Elmer Bernstein's classic movie soundtrack, The Magnificent Seven. And this superb Academy Award-nominated score was then used as background music for Marlboro TV commercials.
Which they don't do anymore. You can't have a...
You can't. But
can't
how brilliant.
That's crazy. Like, and it speaks to the level of money the cigarette industry pulls in. Like...
unimaginable amounts. The original commercials involving the Marlboro Man featured paid models pretending to carry out cowboy tasks. But nay, that did not work. So they hired Oklahoma cowboy Darrell Winfield. And he's the original Marlboro Man. You want to see him?
Yeah. What does it say? Come to where the flavor is.
3 Marlboro men existed: Wayne McLaren, David McLean, and Dick Hammer, but they all died of
lung cancer.
Lung cancer.
Oh shit.
Yep.
Dick Hammer. That's like a porn name.
So I wanted to pick one or two of those, but I couldn't.
How could you?
It was basically a novel.
Picking a favorite child. Those were all so enjoyable.
Deep, and I didn't know any of that. And I love that it started out for women. It delighted me in a way I wasn't prepared for. You got it. You were like, yes. So I have a quick one for we mustn't forget
Harley
Davidson. Clothing accounts for 5% of Harley's total sales, which I thought was funny based on this movie. And this was really cute. There's a reason Harleys are called hogs. It's not what you expect for the sound. It's because the Harley racing team member Ray Wayshar owned a piglet, which became the team's mascot. After winning competitions, team members would take a victory lap with the mascot. Oink, oink.
That's
adorable, and I love it.
It is cute. It is very,
and it goes against the face of all like
yeah.
That's a motorcycle, you guys. I know it didn't sound like that.
I felt like I was next to one in traffic and I was getting pissed off.
You're a kind friend. So those were very long, Snowy, but thanks for hanging in
My
there.
God, that was so much fun. That was so much fun. Like, did we discuss it before on the podcast that both of our first cigarettes were like Marlboro Reds?
Marlboro
Yeah.
Reds, very first.
Yeah.
I've always considered it such like a manly, the tough cigarette, real smokers
Yeah.
smoke Marlboro Reds.
That.
And then I heard about Newports. It's like, oh Lord.
Are you serious? You smoke Newports? Like,
Woo!
a fiberglass, like.
But we should go on to your preview, Snowy. Were you able to dig up anything on this wonderful 1991 gem?
In fact, I was. I'd love to tell you about it. Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man, 1991. Did you know this movie was supposed to take place in 1996?
Oh my God, I can't believe we're starting here because I missed that major plot point the first go around, and we'll go in deeper, but I did not know this before. I do now.
I didn't know it at all until I just had to read about it. I didn't pick it up the second time I watched the movie.
Oh, I did. I was like, good Lord, because some of the jokes and pretty much the entire plot line is dependent on it.
Some of those things
that we'll go
We'll get there. Okay. Directed by Simon Windsor and written by Don Michael Paul. IMDb gives this 6.1 out of 10 stars.
Oh.
Metacritic 36 Metascore.
Low.
And then it had a TBD user rating. They didn't have enough ratings.
Huh. Well, now I will say I've never heard of it, which doesn't mean anything, but still, like, never heard of it.
Right. I was surprised. So I had lunch with some old colleagues today.
Yes.
Shout out to my boo boo Chad and John,
the original, the one and only
I know,
Chad.
my Chad. But we were actually talking about the podcast when we were like having lunch and having some drinks, and I believe it was Chad who was like, "Oh man, like I think he had an older brother." He said that like loved this movie growing up, and I was like, "Yeah, like it was just." But Chad's very good for that. When we used to work together, we'd do this thing, and we'd call it the Chad Noel nostalgia corner, because
awesome.
we would just
love it already.
we would sit there and like just go back and forth about that shit like that we grew up with, and it's just I don't know, that's our thing. Rotten Tomatoes, a 25% on the tomato meter.
Wow.
But a 65% audience score.
Okay.
So like it's all over the place. You never fucking know, man. You never know.
No. And when it is consistent, sometimes it boggles the mind that this is one that's way, like Bubba Hotep.
I still just oof. And part of me feels like I rated that too high, but you know what? I have to go. It stands as it stands.
No, you did well.
Thank you so much.
There was merit enough for it too. I just couldn't go that high.
Right. You usually can go pretty high. All right. So our stars of this film: Mickey Rourke, Harley Davidson. Now, not Mickey's first appearance on the pod.
No, and I am willing to bet not the last.
Probably not. So 9.5 Weeks, Angel Heart, Johnny Handsome, Double Team, Once Upon a Time in Mexico, Man on Fire, Sin City, The Wrestler, which was kind of after his
his big comeback. Really.
Yeah, that was his. Yeah, but I feel like though he acted steadily, but it was just in smaller things. And then when
he
The
didn't
Wrestler,
get the recognition that
exactly,
he should have. And I don't know that he was knocking it out of the park in some of those others like he did.
Very
in this
fair,
one.
very very fair. Iron Man 2. Where's my bird? Expendables, Passion Play, which we all know how that went. Nightmare Cinema, and most recently something called Man of God.
Huh.
Don Johnson was Marlboro Man.
You took a liking to Mr. Johnson.
I have had Don Johnson has been a prince for me since I was a little girl.
I did not
know. I watched Miami Vice with my parents.
I did not know. I just saw that you had quite a reaction to
a massive
Johnson.
Laney boner for Don Johnson.
He's not ugly, I'll tell you that much.
No, he's so handsome. And even honestly, like he's as old as my dad now, if not maybe a tiny bit older, and I still think he's so handsome. Like,
sure, you're like an older gentleman.
Sometimes. Like a silver fox. I did not know though he was in the G.I. Joe movie, like the cartoon, and he voiced a character in that.
Cool.
Yeah, that was one of his first things. And that was and did you know he had a music video called Heartbeat in the 80s?
Oh, we have to see that.
Yeah, I used to be a fan of it back in the Heartbeat. It's pretty bad.
Wow.
We're gonna listen to it as soon as we're done.
Yes.
While we eat our pizza. Of course, Miami Vice. He was Detective
course.
James Crockett. Born Yesterday. I forgot he was on that show, Nash Bridges, with Cheech Marin. He was the titular character. He was like a detective or
Nash
something. It was like the
Bridges.
mid
That sounds
'90s.
familiar, but I don't
Yeah,
think
it
I
was
ever
him and
saw
Cheech.
it.
They were like detectives doing.
Cheech from Cheech and
Yes,
Chong?
they were
I
cops.
gotta see it now. That's my people.
Eastbound and Down, Django Unchained, Dusk Till Dawn, the television series, Knives
I
Out.
liked that series.
I don't know if
thought
I saw
was
it.
fun. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Great in Knives Out.
I love Knives Out so much. And most recently, Watchmen, and now he's on Kenan Thompson's brand new show, Kenan.
I haven't checked that out.
I haven't either. And I just love that Kenan's like doing his thing.
I've known Kenan since back in the Nickelodeon days.
Yes,
when he did
as
that
have I.
variety show.
Was it All That?
It's All That.
Yeah.
That's
oh my
what it
God,
is.
All That was my shit.
All that.
All that. Oh my God, that was my joint. Like watching SNICK, like that was.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I was so jealous of Kenan because I wanted that, and I knew he had the talent to go all the way,
Yeah.
and that I would see him in the future, and it made me so butthurt. When instead I should have been like, "Way to go, Kenan!"
Right.
So now
You should be celebrating his victories.
But when I was young, I was like,
I want to be Kenan.
I'm Kenan. But
Hilarious.
Kenan, tip of the old hat.
Yeah,
my
I'm so
chap.
so glad for
Good
him.
for fucking you, dude.
I know. After being like SNL's longest running
What a career.
character. That's wrong.
Cast member.
Thank you. Thank words. It's been a problem lately. After Tim Meadows. Tim Meadows
That's right.
was prior held the
Awesome.
title. I love Tim Meadows, the ladies man. All right. Next, we're going to talk about Chelsea Field. Who did you catch?
The cop?
Yeah.
She's in stuff.
Okay. Did you catch what her name was?
Mm-mm.
Virginia Slim.
Oh, God.
And did you see at the beginning of the movie where it was like, pretty much they said like, there's been no endorsement from anybody. Like, we're not talking about these companies. Like, they're not endorsing us. Getting away with having all these different names throughout.
Sure.
But Virginia Slim, she has also been on the podcast before. And I can't believe
we missed it?
well that I in particular missed it because she meant a lot to me.
What was she from?
She was in Masters of the Universe. She was Tila.
That's right.
And you know
My mind
my
is so blown
absurd
right now.
crush on Tila.
Of
like
course. She's beautiful.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
yeah.
Oh my God. The return of Tila.
Exactly. Because as soon as I saw like her IMDb photo, I was like, it's Tila. And then I was like, oh, I just couldn't
felt
believe
like
that
even on the rewatch,
Yeah.
I felt like I know this face,
I was like, yeah,
but
I know
I
her,
couldn't
but
pay it.
yeah. Scott Bakula's lady. She also was actually on NCIS New Orleans with him, which I didn't realize that for like a pretty long arc. We had Daniel Baldwin as Alexander, Giancarlo Esposito.
A greasy Baldwin.
Ew, the lesser of the Baldwins. Yeah, Giancarlo Esposito from Maximum Overdrive has been on the podcast.
Absolutely.
We have Vanessa Williams, Tia Carrere, one of my all-time favorite Playboy centerfolds.
Oh.
And she was obviously from Wayne's World. And then Tom Sizemore was our bad guy.
Ah, yes. A young
Yeah, super young
bad guy.
Sizemore.
He's been in lots of stuff. but I
Saving
couldn't
Private
think of
Ryan,
one
Black
thing.
Hawk Down,
Yep.
The Relic, Strange Days, recently Megalodon Rising, which I think is like a sci-fi. He's been in a lot of shit.
I wanted to
Um,
put Relic into the hat,
Really?
but I didn't know how you felt about it. If you thought it was
I
too good.
haven't seen it in so long that I don't know that I have an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Hellhole, Apocalypse of Ice, Hell Girl,
Wow.
Speed Kills. He was in the Twin Peaks reboot, which I didn't love. I hate to say I didn't.
Oh,
love.
yeah?
I didn't love the reboot. No.
Was your boy in it?
McLaughlin was all over that reboot.
And still no good.
It was just David Lynch was like, "Fuck it, doesn't have to make sense. I'm
gonna
David
do
Lynch."
all the things.
He did,
Yeah.
and the beauty of the early '90s Twin Peaks, it dissipated, so it
Sure.
made me sad. But yeah, so right now, so we had a $23 million budget here.
What?
$23 million budget.
Where did it go?
I don't know. The explosions?
Maybe?
They made $7 million at the box office.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, like ouch and a half.
Yeah,
yes, yes, yes.
yeah.
But that's where we're at right now.
Wow.
And
excellent previews.
Thank you so much.
Well, let us not delay because we have a lot to talk about here.
Quickly, before we fucking go into this movie,
Sure.
tomorrow is the year anniversary of our very first podcast. We said we were going to talk about it.
I forgot to talk about it.
And we got to talk about that.
We have to talk about it.
It's,
That's,
I mean,
wow.
clink, clink, clink.
For sure.
Yeah. Here, guys. That's right.
That was a good one.
Good. I cannot believe we've been doing this for a fucking year, dude.
Nala can't either.
Nala is ecstatic.
As a part of the podcast, she's allowed to voice her opinion.
Yeah. I appreciate that. I respect it.
What a ride.
Seriously.
I don't feel like it's been this long.
No, it's like...
I feel like maybe we're 6 months in.
Mhm.
We're still figuring stuff out.
Right. What did you say today? This is the 38th like the 38th movie review.
38th movie review.
And we've done at least a dozen minis?
At least a dozen minis.
Yeah.
Going strong.
It's crazy.
And I'm so excited about the upcoming spooktastic Halloween adventure.
So am I.
I am pumped.
I can't wait.
But yes, cheers, buddy, to an amazing
Yes, my buddy.
adventure. I can't wait for another awesome year.
Fuck yeah. I'm so excited.
Okay.
To the task at hand.
Yes, to Harley and his pal Marlboro. So, yeah, this movie it says set in the near future. And they really mean near because it came out in 91 and the future date is 96.
Which is hilarious to me.
5 years is nothing. And they barely showed any future stuff.
Yeah, like I never ever would have thought.
But the future stuff they did choose to show us was magnifique. But we will get there. So we open up on Harley after a wild night. You can see he's all nakers by the window. A hot, beautiful lady's nakers on the bed. And he's looking at a photograph in his wallet of
Of
him
another
and
bitch.
another lady.
Yeah.
You know, and you can tell he's reminiscing. And in the background, we're getting all this information about this brand new cool drug called...
Yeah, let me like, this cool drug is killing everybody. I couldn't wait to try it. Sign me up.
And it's called Crystal Dreams.
Now, when we were watching this, I specifically was like, that chick looks familiar. Like, after you saw her boobs, she looks familiar.
Oh,
and it was this whole thing.
You remember things.
I know who that is now.
Pray tell, whose boobs are those?
Okay, those boobs. Dude, where's my car? All right. And do you remember the smoking hot aliens that were in the black outfits that would come after the guys and be like, we need
She's
the
one of
continuing
those?
Transfunctioner. It was the lead one.
Get out of town, no wonder.
And I knew.
You knew right
I did.
away.
I knew.
I've seen those. I did not. So we see that real quick. We get that weird intro. I don't know if he's listening to the radio because later he seems not to know anything about this. So I don't know if this voiceover is for us, the viewer, or if
I think he just wasn't paying attention.
What? Harley not paying attention? Possible. I'll put that in the maybe files. So then he just hits the road. We don't know why or where he's going. He's just hitting the road. And on the way, he stops at a gas station. And we get this... I was annoyed by it. The scene with this robbery and these annoying hooligans, and they're sticking up the lady, and Harley's being real cool about it.
He's so cool about it.
He's just the coolest cat you've ever done to me.
He's like, I need, $10 on whatever, and the guy's like, boo, drop it.
I gotta get.
Yeah. And then he's like, what does he say? Something like you're clean, fresh gas station air or some shit. And
Something
you and I are like, what?
And how when a guy holds a gun to him, it makes him real angry. Like, then he beats him up, but destroys the store. And
And she's like, take as much gas as you want.
yeah, she really, the ladies take a liking to old Harley.
Yo, I get it. Young Mickey Rourke is sexy as fuck.
Yeah, but here's the thing, compared to Marlboro Man, put them side by side.
What did I tell you when we were watching it? I said I would try to get with Marlboro. I'd end up going home with Harley.
Facts.
Like,
I'm gonna go with Marlboro. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Different adventures altogether, but adventures nonetheless.
Adventures nonetheless, yep.
The next scene, we meet Marlboro Man, and he's playing some pool and talking a lot of shit. This
He's
guy's
trying to hustle the wrong people.
He's got confidence in a different way than Harley.
Mm-hmm.
Harley's got like a cool, like type of confidence, but Marlboro Man, he's quiet and dignified. Well, he did talk a lot of shit, but
He did.
He had reason to, because he totally won that game.
Mm-hmm.
The guy got real upset.
He was really unhappy about it.
Real upset. Did the little switchblade situation, and then who comes by?
Harley Davidson.
Old Harls.
And
talking shit to the cowboy.
And what there was the guy that pulled the switchblade keeps calling him a pretty boy.
Very famous dude.
Yeah. And I like glanced over him. I was like, it's fine.
We know him.
But he's got a bunch of his cronies there, and they're getting ready to like all kind of tackle Marlboro, and Harley is totally being helpful as shit, and he's like, if you're such a pretty boy, why can't you take him yourself?
Yeah, let's make it a fair
I was
fight.
like, thanks,
Yes,
bro.
yes.
Like,
and the brawl is had, and Marlboro gets the best of the guy. He does get injured though. And then the next thing we see is I call them the boys. They're having a heart-to-heart on the top of a billboard.
yeah, and Mickey Rourke's eating beans out of
Is
a can.
that where Marlboro lives? Because
maybe
the place we see later is Lady Cop's place, and that's where she lives with her fiance.
She is.
Where the fuck's Marlboro? Because Marlboro, his bike's falling apart.
His shoes are falling apart. He duct tapes them all the time.
He's full of quips and beautiful dimples. But where you live, homie?
Yeah.
Where we gonna do it?
Not my place.
Any more information in this billboard, I will fall to my death.
Yeah. We talked about that. I don't like heights. I don't care for it.
That. I'm gonna need to live to fuck again. Live to fuck again.
Oh shit.
So Marlboro Man's stitching himself up there, and they decide it's time to go to their favorite joint. Now, did you catch the name of their little bar?
I forget.
The Rock and Roll.
That's right. I think before that, doesn't even Mickey Rourke say something like "Let's rock and roll" or something?
Yep.
And I thought that was just him trying to be cool,
but it was. Now, a couple of fun little lines when they pull up to this bar, because they pull up, Marlboro Man's bike falls over. It's like fucked up. He's like, shoot it to death, like put it out of its misery. Harley tries to, and we find out he's a terrible shot.
Awful shot. Yeah.
So these are the two lines that really stood out to me. They turned Burbank into a goddamn international airport. Hold the phone. We've got to talk about this. This is one of the main plot points, which I completely missed on the first watch.
Yes, you did.
They're roll up to a stoplight, and he says this, and because of this, it's really fucked up the economy around town, and that's what drove the prices up at the Rock and Roll, and why this guy was going out of business, and why they had to in turn go do all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Second hilarious line. Goddamn, Harley, if you were shooting for shit, you wouldn't even get a whiff.
That was such a funny line.
He was full of these, and he was full of, my daddy used to tell me before he died. Like, I loved Marlboro Man. He was my guy for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so they get to their spot, and everybody's like, hey, guys, they know them. And they're like, there's this whole inside joke or situation about Jack wanting to kill Marlboro Man. We don't know who Jack is or why he wants to kill him. And then who do they see in the club?
Vanessa Williams singing her heart out,
dancing.
and he's like, Harley's like, oh, He obviously knows about, like...
Yeah, there's some history there, and Marlboro's like, I wouldn't fuck around
Was
if
it
I were you.
Harley that went and, like, sat in that old man's lap?
He did. That's the owner of the rock and
Yes,
roll, and that's
yes.
when he told him. I think that's when it because before Harley jumped in his lap, there were some menacing goons in
With
up
Daniel Baldwin,
uptight fucking
shoulder
suits
checking, uh-huh.
menacingly talking to the owner guy. And then they left, and that's when Marlboro or Harley comes up or jumps up, if you will. The boys go to the back room, where the sinister stuff goes down,
Right,
where the
right.
where the betting on. What are they betting on?
It's over the top back there, and they are doing arm wrestling.
There's something I know this is a real sport and real professionals do it and it's like a thing, but
They're all gonna laugh at you.
it makes me giggle to see these
It's
giant sweaty men like
Ooh, ooh. Yeah.
I can't get enough. When will the hat produce over the top? That's my question.
Yeah, I don't
That's my
know.
question. And who do we meet back there wrestling?
We meet Giancarlo Esposito.
He's the ringleader. He's taking the bets and he's real colorful. He was a fun character.
He was.
Loved him in this. A lot of pizzazz.
And I think his name was Jimmy.
Happens to be the brother of Vanessa.
Mm-hmm.
So he's brother-in-law with Jack.
Great big dude.
Yeah, I call him Jack the Giant.
That I think was that dude's last movie. I think he ended up passing away shortly thereafter.
Oh, sorry, Jack. It was probably when they had him
giant, like
jump out that fucking window into
onto
that
the car.
car.
Yeah, or slide across with his.
But yeah, so Jack's this big motherfucker, and apparently what's happened is Harley fucked his girl Vanessa, and they were homies. So he was like, "How come you did that?" And pretty much wants to kill him, for revenge.
Yeah.
So he beats his opponent real quick, goes after Harley.
This
They
little song and dance.
have a little brawl. The falling out of the window into the car thing happens. Now this isn't a short fall. It's
a story. Like
yeah. And then they patch things up. He's like, sorry, she's super in love with you. There's nothing to worry about. And then they're best friends again.
Yeah, then
Bros.
dudes can do that
it's
shit.
A different world.
Dudes can do that crap. Ladies
we can't
cannot.
Do that.
We can't do that. Like, I'm gonna kick the shit out of you till we're friends again.
You kick the shit out of me. We cannot be friends again.
Exactly. Every time I see you, I'm like, where my Vaseline at? I can braid up the hair. Lego.
Here,
take off my hoops.
bracelets.
Yeah, like no, these cuffs are gonna come in handy. Smack.
Like, I'm keeping them a Fitbit for the steps. Logging this as exercise. Okay, so it's after the fight that we learn the details of what's going on at the rock and roll.
Right, it's about to get shut down.
She's being strong-armed by this bank, the Great Trust Bank, which I thought was hilarious.
It's a
total eye roll, but I love it. And so he needs like $2.5 million to be able to keep the place because of the inflated prices, because of the international airport that was taken over an entire city in 5 years.
Just tourists
the
logistics,
everywhere. Alone. And so Harley's like, hey, we got to do something. This is our homie. This is our spot. Marlboro's like, what are we going to fucking do? Harley's like, we're going to rob that motherfucking bank and use their own money to pay them off.
Bada bing, bada boom.
And so they do. They go and pull off a little heist. They get Jack involved. Esposito's involved.
Well, Jack is not involved. He says I'm out because
Vanessa, right?
Right. And she comes in and she's like, we're going to have a baby.
She's sassy. And I liked it.
And he's like, I remember you were like, he would crush her during sex. You were so concerned about her welfare during sex.
So small and he's so big. Yeah. You were like, you had all the solutions.
Oh, yes. I was like, there's positions.
I'm not going to blow up your spot, but you had all the solutions. So I forgot that he joined later, I guess.
Yeah, he was like, I'm out. And then they get this armored truck. They get the guys out of the truck.
They successfully rob the guys, and then they're tied up, and they say, "Well, your problem's not with us; it's with them." And one of the best things happens in the whole wide world.
It's the fucking Matrix Reloaded.
4 or 5
5
men,
grown men,
in full leather outfits
S&M
with
garb.
skirts, like trench coats that were so long,
like
slicked back
greasy hair.
and dark glasses. And like, because it was the future, this is one of the future things they brought in were their guns.
Yeah.
Not anybody else's gun. Everyone else had fucking 1991 guns. But the Matrix
82
goons,
guns.
they were like 96. Doing,
Mhm.
doing.
And they're shooting everything up. And then Jack rides in at the last minute. Like there's like a cool like explosion. Then he rides in, like takes the top off like his gas tank, lets it on fire, lets it slide out.
He falls
like
to the side
yeah,
and does
great.
an amazing. The bike goes in front of him.
But what's great is as the bike,
It's
which is a
engulfed in
flame,
fire.
is it goes towards the guys. They like skip over it
In unison.
It
was glorious.
hilarious. Oh my god, so fucking funny.
So good.
And then it blows up their like Cadillac or Bonneville. I used to have a Bonneville. That's my first car was a Bonneville.
Oh yeah.
An 89 Bonneville, yeah. It was navy blue.
I had a 91 Honda Accord tan with red interior.
Ooh.
Well, like maroon.
Even
and
sexier.
Brown. It was a deep, deep brown.
I loved my Bonneville. My god, I thought that thing was an SUV.
I loved my first
I took
car.
it over fields,
what did you name
over
yours?
Bonnie.
A treatise. I was reading this weird Greek thing at the time.
I get it.
It made me think of a titties, and that made me laugh in the inside.
Hilarious.
Secrets.
So the boys escape narrowly.
They fucking make it down a grate.
Yep.
Into a waiting truck where who's waiting for him?
So it's Giancarlo, who I'm pretty sure that was Jimmy. And okay. We had several names during this. We had Harley Davidson, Marlboro Man, Virginia Slim. There was a guy that was supposed to be Jack Daniels. We had Old Granddad, who I think that was the old man that owned the joint.
The owner.
Jimmy, because they thought that Giancarlo looked like Jimi Hendrix. And then Jose was the silent friend. Like Jose.
Yes, he
Jose
was
Grant.
actually, he couldn't.
Yeah, he was, I believe, mute.
I don't know which one.
He
was doing signs.
Yeah.
So he was sweet.
He was fun. He was a fun little guy.
After the robbery, who do we meet? Head honcho, super young.
Tom Sizemore.
And I loved what he did with his character. It was just the right touch of like sleazy and like know-it-all-y.
How did he say amateur? It's like amateur or...
Did he?
Remember? Because we were like, bitch.
I don't remember, but I'm going to say yes.
These amateurs.
Yeah, he had a real pimped out office, just a real dickish demeanor about
and, like
him.
Tia Carrere was his like secretary, sidekick,
That's
whatever.
Right. Super young her.
Yeah.
She had to been like 18.
This is before Wayne's World.
Yeah. Way before.
No, not way before. It was like a year or two.
Really?
Yeah.
She looks so much different in Wayne's World, like a mature.
Yeah. Amateur.
So we find out right before this, the guys are celebrating the heist. They won. But when they go to get the money out, they find
It's great big blue blocks.
Yep, it's
Walter White shit.
Crystal Dreams, but it looks just like some Walter Blue meth. I mean, just like it.
Like I said, very fortuitous that Giancarlo was in there.
Right? Giancarlo was like, I have the perfect idea for your meth. No one's seen it before. Because no one watched this movie. So you're in luck.
Awesome.
So they're like, well, fuck. Because Harley had the intel on robbing this particular truck.
Yes.
And he was like, I fucked up. Sorry. Marlboro's like, we can't do anything with this. The quiet guy was like, I'm not fucking around with drugs. This drug's been killing people. It's like, it's bad news. I don't know that they've made a plan about what they're gonna do yet, but this is where we meet the villain, and he's like, "I want my fucking shit back, so
Mhm.
make it happen. Kill those dudes, get my shit." And that's basically the gist of that
Right.
scene.
It's time for a real fun fact real quick.
Yes,
Bruce Willis was slated to play Harley.
really.
Yeah. Now,
That's not the right vibe for Harley, I don't think.
what's funny is that about 10 minutes into the movie, there's a Die Hardest 5 billboard.
That's cute. That's cute.
And what's interesting is eventually there ended up being a Die Hard
That is true. And it wasn't good.
5.
Probably could do it on this podcast. I put down the boys separate and have some sexual escapades. Do you remember?
Okay, so they do.
I put Harley with a very thirsty waitress. Do you know what I meant?
Yeah. Yeah. Honey, she's like, it's hot and sweet and yeah. It made me so uncomfortable.
That was gross.
She's like, I heard you can take me home.
Mm-hmm. She wanted some Harley Davidson.
Yes, she did. I thought she said Harley D. I was like, show enough.
I should have.
And then Don Johnson, Marlboro, he goes off, gets chased by a cop on a motorcycle.
Well,
There's
he
this whole-
sees the cop and he's like, "Oh," and starts antagonizing her. Like, does a little willy, flips him off, and then runs off. It's like, oh, this guy wants trouble.
And then finally, like, he pulls over and he's like, oh, I was letting off some steam. It's a chick. And then she said, kiss the wall. And then she's got her hand on his dick.
Sure did.
And I was like, oh.
Over it.
And then turns out they have been.
And that was, what's her name?
That was Tila. Chelsea Field.
Next thing you know, Harley's breaking into this lady's house, burning shit down for breakfast.
Yeah, they bang all night. And then she's like, I'm engaged. You can't come here no more.
Yeah,
and then she starts fucking him again.
Have a marital spat. Yeah.
And then she comes in her kitchen the next morning and like Harley has broken in and he's just fucking shit up.
Now, Marlboro, very good looking face. Body was not what I was hoping for.
Oh no?
It was a little softer than I thought would be under those cowboy.
I don't mind. I don't mind a soft. I don't like a dad bod.
I don't mind it. I just had a different picture.
Right.
So when I saw it, I was like, oh.
So years ago when the second Magic Mike movie came out, I was running, bar and brewery. And I had this host. And
Magic or Mike here?
XXL or whatever the fuck they called it. And I had this male host, kid, like high schooler. His grandma and her friends come in because we were across from the movie theater. And he is amped, or the grandma and them are amped because they're going to go see Magic Mike XXL. And
the Nana?
Yeah, Nana and her cronies are going to go see it. And he's kids horrified. Yeah. So I come in later and he's recounting the story to me and I'm laughing my ass off. And I was like, I don't give a shit about those movies. I was like, I don't find Channing Tatum. Like, it's not my style. Like, da-da-da-da.
Me either,
And
homie.
the kid
I hear you.
He looks at me, he goes, that makes sense. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, well, and he got kind of like shy. He goes, you like dad bods. Totally called me out. And I was like, you don't know nothing.
You ain't lying.
I mean, yeah. Can't help myself.
All bodies are great. I just had a certain
expectation
body in mind.
Right,
and when
that
it
beautiful
wasn't
face.
that body, I was just like, But I mean, there's other things I need to know before I say no. Harley takes this chick out to breakfast at a diner. They're good friends, obviously, from before when she was with Marlboro, legit. And he wants to know about these drugs. Like, what's up with these drugs? Are they super serial? And she's like, yeah, people are dying. He's like, cool, gotta do some shit. Bye. Sticks her with the bill.
Of course he did. He doesn't have any
she
money.
was like, adorable. Stupid.
And what does she say? She's like, I kind of envy the two of you. She's like, because the rest of us are trying so hard at life. And she's like, and the two of you just kind of float by.
Yeah. Totally happy, fucking up all the way through.
Yeah.
She's not wrong.
No, she's not.
I would love to have that perspective. I am more rigid and uptight than I would like to be.
Yeah, you are.
But
I am
This
too
is
in
our
a lot of
lot.
respects. Like I'm very rigid and uptight until I'm not, and then I'm just like,
Same
"Woo!"
days. I'm like, woo!
I love how our
uh,
emotions were different.
always. So the guys decide they're gonna go to the head honcho and just be like, "Here's your drugs. Give us the amount of money we need to save our buddy's bar, and we'll
Bada
call
bing,
it a
bada boom.
quit."
Yeah.
Yeah.
They meet Tia Carrere, look not wearing a work appropriate outfit at all. I'm very professional. I was
That's
not.
amazing.
A,
Who else? Oh my god! Fucking hard ticket.
I was like, those shorts are too short for you to be at work.
Like he's like, "That's not your work outfit." Something like that. It still kills me.
When I was in college, I would get in trouble for wearing stuff that was too low cut.
Yeah.
And then I got in trouble. And so the next day, I think for a month, I wore turtlenecks in the middle of the summer.
At my old gig, we would call that exposure.
Oh. Look, stuff fits me different.
Life is so interesting.
It
To
is.
think that I had that job.
I know.
We'll tell you buddy buddies about that another time.
Some other time. Maybe a secrets episode.
Secrets.
Oh, shit.
I love that. Let's put that down. Secrets. The goon's like, "All right, here's the money. Fucking get out of here." And then tells the guys, the Matrix goons, fucking go get it. And so everybody's celebrating back at rock and roll. They're rocking and a rolling.
I hate you.
And what happens?
The Matrix dudes come in and shoot the fucking place up and kill everybody except Harley and Marlboro.
Marlboro. The guys, they manage to survive with the money, with the suitcase full of
Mhm.
money. They end up in Vegas.
Oh, they go through this whole like they're in what do you call like when the planes take off the
Airport?
plane landing field is the name for it.
Runway?
And all these planes in the runway, and like the Matrix guys are just coming through, like they don't care. Like I think maybe a couple of them had gotten killed, and like
that happens a little later.
oh, never. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
that's them escaping Vegas because they land in Vegas and go to a hotel, and they're like, surely they won't find us here. Their plan is to get here, get supplies, and then quickly go to another destination now that they have this shitload of money. But the Matrix goons show up, and so they run to the roof, and they have a shootout, and Harley's like, "I'm gonna jump into this pool that's way too far away."
Yeah,
And Marlboro Man's like, "I'm not doing
I
that."
can't.
and Harley's like, "Well, I'd rather have a broken back than a gunshot." And Marlboro Man's like, "I don't." But Harley jumps,
What happens? Yeah.
makes it, and Marlboro Man's like, "Well, fuck, this sucks too." So he jumps and totally makes it, and the suitcase somehow makes it, and then they end up at the fucking airport
Where everything goes down.
where they have this like almost Three Stooges esque scene where like they can't be caught, but then the airport guy notices something in there and they have to knock him out, and like a lady gets abducted and they have to it's quiet, and like the Matrix goons like looking around, but then it ends up he walks
And then
away.
he kills somebody, like her like colleague, and she's like,
and then she realizes, oh shit,
okay,
these guys are good.
You are the good guys, yeah. And then she's like, I guess I'll calm down now, yeah.
I don't know if the airplane goes and they're in it. This is what
I think so. I think
I'm
the guy like
confused about,
Yeah, it
because
gets-
next thing we know, the boys are in a train. Harley's like, we gotta escape, we gotta keep running. Barbo's man's like, we gotta make it right. He's real bummed out about all his best friends, as he should be. But
yeah, he's like,
Harley's
all our friends died last night. Like,
what do you expect us to fucking do about it?
right?
And so,
And
they're at
Harley's found
odds.
out they have the tracker on them.
From the dollar bet that they
Mhm.
had, being dumbasses. And And so he's like, if I destroy this and does, then there's no way they can track us. We can keep running. And he's like, no, we're gonna make things right. And so they separate. Who jumps the train?
Fucking Marlboro Man. And then he looks longingly at it like he lost a lover.
Real sad. Yeah. Real sad, like. And so Marlboro Man turns up at whose house?
Virginia Slim's.
Tila.
My homegirl Tila.
And who's there with Tila?
Her fiance.
It's a real bad sitch. She's like, you're making things real complicated for me.
Yeah, she's like, you got till we get to the sidewalk.
We had this
For us-
talk. You're fucking
Yeah.
leaving.
Now we heard them screaming in the house at each other.
Yeah.
And you were like, I wouldn't do that, bro. You were like, I wouldn't, like, I mean, you don't need to yell over that kind of thing. It's like, do you not?
Make love, not war.
Let me tell you,
Peace is the way.
whoever, if I'm with my fiance and some bitch rolls up, it will not be good for anybody involved.
You're gonna have some things to say
I'm
loudly.
gonna have some harsh words.
I think I might come from a Catholic
Fuck off.
have your fights in private, type background. Like
Well-
we'll have them, but just
I believe in that. That's how my dad's parents were. Like that, you never ever saw them fight. I'm a big proponent of that.
yeah.
You show up at my house in the middle of the night, ho. Girl, we gonna have some issues.
You're not wrong. I agree with that. Would it be how I do it? I don't know. Maybe. If some bitch
I've
shows
seen you
up to
mad,
my
like,
house.
yeah.
I'm not that poised. Local woman murders other woman. You'll be like, you said you wouldn't yell, you cut her.
And you're like, Colombian.
Different strokes. That's Colombian necktie. So, who shows up at the end of that interaction?
It's Harley. He's like, I was late or
Bro,
whatever. He says
broom,
something. Yeah.
broom. Hop on in the back. Now, Harley was a couple of things I noted about Harley. He wasn't as manly man. He had a little sway.
side,
He had a
yeah.
little swing to that spectrum. Like, I guess it wouldn't shock me if he hooked up with a guy. Where Marlboro Man seems all ladies man.
Right.
But they just had a really good bond, really good friendship.
Maybe like myself, he's an equal opportunity lover.
Exactly like yourself. And the second thing I noted was how fucking bright his lips were. Whatever
He put,
ointment they used on
Okay.
his fucking lips.
we noticed that in Passion Play.
Yes!
He likes a moisturized lip. I
He
think
likes
that's an
to
old school Rourke
accentuate
thing.
how big and luscious that bottom lip
Those
is.
DSLs, man.
I mean, top lip, we can use some work there, but he has got bottom lip.
Yeah, he got bottom lip.
Bottom lip action. The boys in the Matrix goons, they have a final showdown at the airplane graveyard that we've seen a couple of
We've
times
seen
now.
17 times. And then we get there and you're like, is that an airplane graveyard? I'm like, literally half the movie has taken place here.
Bang, bang, bang. They have a little shootout, and Marlboro gets injured.
Mhm.
And then everybody gets taken out. Sleazy Baldwin has Marlboro in a headlock. Harley, the shit shot.
He's like, shoot him! Just shoot him!
And he does, except
He shoots Marlboro.
I love it. And that gives him the opportunity to Marlboro to shoot Baldwin
Mhm.
up pretty good. So they finish that off. That only leaves the one final villain.
Tom
Right?
Sizemore.
That's right. So they head to the bank. They head in there and they're outgunned, outnumbered.
For sure.
The guy
They make friends with the helicopter pilot.
That's right. The banker's so cocky until said helicopter shows up and shoots them the fuck out.
And I love that the helicopter guy when he's like, I'm glad you took those guys out. I'm like, yeah, why? He's like, they were pussies.
Amazing. for some dumb reason, the bad guy is hanging on to Marlboro's boot to keep him from falling over the edge of the building. I just found that to be so asinine and ridiculous, but it just fit.
It did,
It
and then the
fit
whole
this
thing,
movie.
obviously, like, he's been
It'd been a
bandaging
running.
up,
It'd been a
his
running
boots the whole
gag.
time, yeah.
Yeah. Even Harley was like, "Oh, you need a new bike, you need new shoes, new lady." Like,
My daddy gave me these shoes.
Give me some more lip gloss. My lips are not glossy
Like a pouty
enough.
lip. I get it, Mickey.
If you see
I
my
like
lips dry,
I like a juicy lip.
you gotta gloss them. Bad dude falls over because the boot falls apart. He's done. He's gone. The
And it's a
good
real long
guys,
fall. It's
so long and terribly
it's
affected.
so
Yes,
good.
yes. And the good guys have come out the victors. They hug it out. The bros hug it out. And Harley, he rides off into the sunset. We'll hear about him in a minute. And what does Marlboro do? He decides he's going to go do some bull riding
That's
because
right.
in one of the hearts to hearts, he had told Harley all about how his pappy didn't think he could ride a bull or something stupid, and then he tried to, and it broke his leg, and then his dad died. Some convoluted, and now my dream is to ride a bull.
Right.
And so we did. Little 8 seconds. And then the last we see of Harley is he's headed out of town, and who does he see?
The chick from the picture that he's been just obsessing over this whole time. I needed more information there.
Yeah. It was real
Like,
loosey-goosey.
was that just like a one night
She's-
stand that you took a picture with? Or like, did you have a relationship?
She's
Why
like
is she
knowing
hitchhiking?
smile, super hot outfit, just looking banging.
Yeah, and then she wraps her legs around him on the bike and off they ride.
Yes, I'm a cowboy. And that's the end of our lovely little film.
Fiend.
Fiend. So, my friend, we must go to real. Beautiful. I had a great time.
This is such a fun
with
movie.
This movie, especially after the not such great time we had with the last one.
And the one before that.
True, but we had such a good time watching it.
We did have a fun time
The
watching
last viewing was kind of hard to get through,
Yeah,
and
we
we
were s-
wanted it
and we
to
were
be
just like,
great. And so
uh-huh.
this was such a
It's-
revival.
Yeah.
It was like a fresh breeze.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, like, there were explosions. What was the tagline? Lots of action, lots of bullets. That was the fucking tagline for this movie.
Amazing.
I thought it was so much fun. Like, yeah, it was exactly what I was hoping for.
Exactly what I was hoping for,
Yeah.
and didn't realize that I would get from this.
Yeah.
Because I had such lack of knowledge, had no idea what to expect. Seemed like an asinine concept. Loved the title. Didn't know where they were gonna go, and they just went in a fun, ridiculous. It was a romp.
Now, both Mickey Rourke and Don Johnson do not love this movie. Unfortunately,
see it
Mickey Rourke said he
negatively?
did it for the money. He felt like a sellout, and this was the movie that kind of made him go into this like downtrodden thing before his boxing career. And
Wow, this is what pushed them over the edge.
I guess so. And then Don Johnson said, if you don't have a single brain cell, this movie is for you.
Wow.
Which I hate they feel that way about it. They actually became really good friends off this. Like, they apparently had a ton of like mutual respect and love for each other. And were like, oh shit, you're
They
so
had
awesome.
good
No, bro,
chemistry
you're so
together.
awesome.
They had good chemistry together for sure. Yeah, it's too bad they feel that way
'cause
because
I-
they could totally embrace this. I
Yeah.
feel like this could easily have a little cult following. I just think it's not known.
Yeah, I don't think it is either. Like, I
You could
literally,
see from some of those ratings.
yeah,
The people that did see it had a fun time.
yeah.
I mean, it's not a masterpiece. We're
Certainly
not talking
not.
masterpiece here, but definitely not bad.
A fun romp,
For sure.
a good Saturday afternoon watch.
Yeah.
So shall we do a little ready-roo?
Let's give this guy a rating, Snowy. What do you think?
I think I'm gonna do a solid 3.
Solid 3. That's so close to me with a 2.5. We were right on the money.
means
Gonna need some help here.
2.75.
2.7. Now this is normally when we would go into sombrero picks, but nay,
Dun, 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 dun.
amazing. Nay, not this week because Snowy, what's happening next week?
Well, we're gonna do a little mini-sode action.
Yes.
And we are gonna talk about our spooktastic Halloween adventure.
We're gonna debut several things. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us this week. You got to come back next week. We're going to talk all spooktastic, all mini long.
Oh my god, can't wait.
It's a must-see TV.
It's like Friday night in the 90s.
TGIF.
Loved it. But in the meantime,
reach out.
say hello.
Absolutely. Rate us, review us, like us. Check us out on the social medias.
Real Fun Times on Instagram and then our Facebook.
Absolutely. Check out the website.
realfuntimespod.com.
And anywhere you go get podcast stuff, that's where you'll find us too.
That's where we'll be.
And you got to tell somebody. And I'm going to go with a convenience store clerk.
I was going to say a smoker.
Yes. Go find yourself a smoker, not a vapor.
No.
Legit. Old school. OG.
Yeah.
Marlboro Reds. You.
Boom. You smoke Marlboro Red? Well, we got something to talk about.
I got that podcast for you.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, looking forward to next week.
It's going to be a blasty blast.
Until next time.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to Real Fun Times, your favorite movie podcast.
Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Real Fun Times. REELFUNTIMES. Real Fun Times is produced by Drea Age, Rose Age, and Noelle Phelps. The thoughts and opinions expressed herein are solely those of the individual hosts. Nobody else's. No one's.
Real Fun Times is not affiliated with or connected to any of the motion pictures, music, or other clips played within this podcast. All movie clips and music included in this podcast are the intellectual property of the respective copyright holders. They're included here for review purposes, and absolutely no infringement is intended.
And lastly, a tip of the hat and a sincere thank you to our friend, Autopsy Summer Camp, for our rad outro music. To hear more of his offerings and collaborations, check him out on Instagram at Autopsy Summer Camp. Yeah, dude, he's so fucking... You have to answer the door one time. He's so beefy and hot. Get out of here!
Awesome, call him back. My pixel's not right. It's missing the sausage. You're stupid.
I'm not stupid. You are.
You are.
You are.
It's sound. It's too soon. We're so close.
We're so... okay.
So